All right, all right. Welcome y'all back to the Healing University. I am the Black Angel, your instructor for tonight's class. We're going to be talking about portals. Portals is definitely one of those, you know, subjects that a lot of people are interested in and want to know more about. And so tonight I'm going to try to make this class as simple as possible for your understanding. Okay. We're going to try to use very simple techniques and simple identifiers about portals. Talk about a little bit how to find them or when to know when you're in the presence of a portal. We're going to talk about how portals can be opened and closed and when they open and close automatically, even if you don't realize they are. And just talk about the different types of portals and what we can do with those particular portals. Okay. So before we get started, as always, I like to start with grounding, just to make sure we're grounded, we're connected to the divine, and making sure we're having spiritual protection around us at the same time. Okay. So at this time, I'm going to ask everyone to take a deep breath. Okay. Breathe in the nose, breathe out the mouth, and allow yourself to be relaxed and in receive mode. And I'm going to use some Raku, where push the symbol into the middle of us so that we can be grounded to the earth. This would allow any unwanted energies and feelings and emotions to make its way down to the root chakra and out into the earth, so the earth can then transmute that energy to something good, love and light, right? So also before we start, we want to make sure that there is no negative energies that may be attached or within our energetic field, okay? So at this time, I command any negativity that's within you, it's attached to you, and any in your energetic field and auras to be released into the black hole. I command it, so Ashe. So we're going to allow that negative energy to leave and go away so that we can feel lighter. So as this energy is leaving, we're going to replace the negative energy with positive energy, okay? So I just want to quickly explain. When we talk about negative energy is what's going to be negative to the person individually. What may be negative to you may not be negative to someone else. That's why I keep it general with just negative energy, okay? When we talk about positive energy, it's the same. What may be positive to you may not be positive to someone else, but overall, if I command the positive energy in, it's going to come into you individually for what is for your highest good. That's why I always say for your highest good. So just always keep that in mind when you're working with yourself and with others. So at this time, I'm going to use reverse Chokurei to send and feel us all with positive energy for our highest good individually. Ashe. As this positive energy comes into you, you should start to feel a little bit of tingling here and there where the positive energy is needed. And you should start to feel maybe some vibrations as if you are being uplifted, right? So not even just uplifted in spirit, but sometimes it can feel like your physical body actually wants to uplift and actually starts to float, right? That's how you know when your vibrations are high, when your spirit is high, okay? All right, so also before we start, anytime we're doing any type of training, spiritual training, we always want to call in our spirit guides and guardian angels. So spirit guides are going to be there to assist us in the class. So as I speak about certain things, your spirit guide may, speak to you or show you something in the mind's eye that can resonate with you about what I'm talking about, right? And then your guardian angels, are there to protect you from any interference or any spirits that are trying to like infiltrate, to protect you from anything negative that would throw you off being able to learn what you're trying to learn today, and just to make sure that your space is cleansed and protected right? So just remember, when it comes to angels, when it comes to the spirit guides and guardians, uh, even if they're there, we still have to reach out to them and call on them and accept and welcome them into our space so that they can work with us. All right. So at this time, calling a divine creator, I'm calling my divine spiritual support team to come in. I welcome you in for guidance and for protection, for love, assistance. Ashe. Now, anytime you call in your divine support team, you usually can start to feel their presence pretty quickly. Most of the time, they're going to feel like a very cooling, light, tingly sensations when they show up. And that's how you usually can know their presence. The masculine energies, they usually present themselves on your right side, and the feminine energies of those spirits, spirit guides and guardians, will present themselves on the left side. And then some will present themselves in front of you, some you will feel in the back of you, okay? They all have their different ways of communicating. Okay, so now that we are grounded, we have our spirit guides and our guardians with us, have the divine creator with us. Now we are going to go into class. What is a portal? Okay, now watching this replay, it's okay if you want to take a break real quick, just to allow yourself to be grounded and your spirit guides and guardians to be in place. And then when you feel comfortable, when your intuition, you feel comfortable, then you can press play so you can continue on with the class. Now, let's go into portals. What is a portal? What is a portal? So a portal is pretty much like a doorway, right? It can also be looked at as a gateway, some type of opening where things on two sides can travel in between. I even look at portals sometimes like a fiber cable, right? If you take a fiber cable, it has to have light to send signal from one end to the other. And it transmutes data, it transcends data, it sends the data back and forth. So I look at when you plug the fiber cable into the back of the TV and then plug the other half into the surround system, that data has to go back and forth. That's like a portal between the TV and the surround sound system. And so when we look at portals, again, to simplify it, to keep it very simple, it can be looked at as a doorway or a gateway, a space that information, energy can be sent back and forth between two areas, right? And it can be portals between people. It can be portals between a person and an object. It can be portals between two places, right? Think of your front door as a portal, okay? When you walk through your front door, coming in, you're in the house, you're on that side of the portal. And when you go outside of the door, you're on the outside of the home, you know, that side of the portal, right? So your front door can even be looked at as a portal, even a window, back door, okay? So when you simplify portals in that sense, we can understand that each portal has different purposes, all right? There's different types of portals, different purposes of those portals, right? So we know if we have a front door, then that portal is used to go in and out of the house, right? Between the inside of the house and the outside of the house, that's what that portal is designated for, entry and exit. Now, when we look at this spiritually, what does that mean spiritually for us? What kind of portals could we have attached to us as far as, you know, energy going in and out? Portals can be first good, they can be bad, they can be neutral. So when we look at the purposes of portals, the types of portals, we have portals that are good, that may be a portal of happiness, maybe self-confidence. So let's look at a mirror. It's a good example I like to use. Let's look at a mirror. If I go into look at myself in the mirror, depending on the energy I place into the portal or into the mirror, that's the energy I will receive back from it, right? So if I look into the mirror And my intentions are to look at the highlights, the good things I like to see about myself. Maybe it's something physical I want to look at. Maybe it's something, you know, something about me within emotionally. Maybe it's something about my mind that I want to admire, right? But it's something I want to look in that mirror and admire, then that mirror will have a portal created to give off that type of energy. So every time I look in that mirror, I'm going to receive that admiration for myself, that self-confidence, right? Because that's what my intentions are for that particular mirror. Now, let's say there was another mirror in the same home, but this time when I look in this mirror, I always, I see all the bad stuff. I see maybe I don't like my skin. Maybe I don't like my belly. You know, it's always something that I look at and I'm like, ooh, I don't like this about myself. So you'll start to notice, I go to that mirror, I see the faults, right? When I go to this mirror, I see the good things, right? So that means we have a portal of high confidence and self-admiration and self-love. And then we have this other one that deals with maybe some self-doubt, some low confidence, some low self-esteem. And so now we have to do something about that. If you want to, do something about that. We gotta, change this bad portal to something that the other portal has upstairs, or in the other mirror. So you may also have portals that are bad. Let's say if you had an attack towards your home, right? Someone wishing the downfall of your actual home. The portal of the actual curse or the actual ill wishing may open in the home to allow the negative energy to come in to play out the will of the curse, right? To play out the will of the curse, maybe sending negative energy and maybe even some negative entities along with it. So you can have a portal in the home or attached to you, to your own physical body, that can let in and out negative energy. Same thing when it comes to items, maybe there's an item that someone gave you, and they had intentions that in giving you this item, it's going to be for good. Maybe they have love intentions behind it. Maybe it's just a gift, unconditional love, and they just want to gift you something. And that item will now have a portal of unconditional love attached to it because that's what the intentions when it was given to you. Now, if it was given to you with malice, someone wanted to see your downfall, that item would have a portal of negativity attached. And you notice when you have this item, you just feel bad energy coming from it because that was the intentions placed into it. Okay. So types of portals, again, they can be portals that are attached to the mind, attached to the body, attached to the soul, attached to different items in the home or in your workplace and your vehicles. There can also be portals attached to definitely mirrors. I always look at reflective surfaces as a portal. So always keep that in mind when dealing with reflective surfaces, especially mirrors, to allow yourself to feel the energies from that surface and know that it doesn't have to stay that way. You can actually go in and change the intentions of that particular portal or that mirror. So now let's get into quickly, how do we identify a portal? How do we know when we are around them? There's a few different ways using your clairs, okay? Your clairs are like your different psychic abilities. So the first one is gonna be like a feeling. You can feel portals if you allow your body to be a divination tool for you. So when I go in and do a house cleanse, one of the first things I like to do is just walk around the house and just feel, just allow my body to feel. I allow my intuition to guide me into certain places of the home and feel. So an example is I went to home and as I was walking around the home, something told me to stand in front of a window that was facing the backyard. So I stood in front of the window with my back to the window and I felt energy hitting my back as I stood in front of that window. And I was like, oh, wow, there's a portal here. And it's not so good because I can feel the type of energy felt kind of heavy. And I said, yeah, that's not a good portal. It's a portal here. And so I said, let's go outside. And we go outside, and now we're standing in this window, in front of this window on the back porch. And there's two chairs there. And so now I'm still feeling the same energy that I felt inside the home in front of that window, but now I'm feeling it even more as I'm on the outside of the window. So that told me that there's someone who sits here, that portal is feeding them. That portal, out of that portal was created unintentionally by the person, or or the portal was already there and it kind of feeds into the negativity that the person was dealing with. So after speaking with the people in the home, they did confirm that yes, one of the sons, he likes to sit there when he's not feeling well, when he's feeling a little depressed. He likes to go and sit in those particular chairs in that location. So because this is the place where he was dumping, right, dumping his emotions, dumping his feelings, the window, which is a reflective surface as well, was capturing that energy and had created a portal that constantly fed that energy. Now, this is but the downside. He was outside doing it, but right on the other side of that window was a couch. So that means when someone else sits there at that couch, they can start to receive that negative energy and it can latch onto them as well. And then they start to feel depressed, start to feel low, and just not feel good, low vibrations. So that was a way I was able to identify that portal by feeling it. I felt it first. Now, going back to the outside, right? Because another way you can identify portals is through seeing. And when I say seeing, you can see them either with the eyes. Maybe you will see like a hazy, fuzzy energy in front of a certain spot that when you look, everything is clear except this one spot looks kind of fuzzy. That may be a sign of a portal, right? But the other thing about the portals is that using your mind's eye, it can tell you what type of portal it is. And this is how I was able to identify that it was a portal associated with depression and sadness before it was confirmed by the family. So I felt the portal. And then as I looked at the portal, as I looked at the window, I sing the words in the mind's eye: sadness, depression, low vibrations. I heard, right, in the mind's ears, also what it was to also confirm. And then sometimes you can have that claircognizant where it's just a knowing, like you just know a portal there. You don't know how you know, but you just know, right? You just know. So identifying portals can be relatively easy if you allow yourself to be in tune with them. So if I was trying to identify portals and I wasn't sure, one of the things I would ask my higher self is to guide me, show me, guide me, where are the portals or a certain type of portals located in this home or in my car or in my place of work. The more specific you are, the easier it will become for you to be able to identify what you are looking for. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now, some other tools that you can use when it comes to portal is like a pendulum or a set of dowsing rods. Okay, dowsing rods, of course, are those couple rods that you can use to find water back in the day. I like to use them for divination. So sometimes when I need to find portals to save a little bit of mental energy, right? Save some psychic energy, because we can get psychic fatigue, right? We can get kind of tired using the mind's eye a lot, third eye. I'll use dowsing rods and I'll say, okay, higher self, take me to the most negative portal in this house, right? And then the rods will move and I'll go to that spot. And when the rods open up, boom, there's the portal right there. I'm going to be teaching a class on dowsing rods in about 2 weeks. Okay, next week is going to be portal pendulums, and then the week after it's going to be dowsing rods. So make sure you go to Amazon or anywhere else and get you a set of dowsing rods, copper preferably, so that you are prepared for that class. Okay, next week we're doing the pendulum class, the same thing. So when we're talking about portals, again, using even a pendulum. We can hold a pendulum in our hand and go to a certain spot our intuition is leading us to and ask, is there a portal located here? And get a yes or no answer from that pendulum. And then even ask the direction of the portal and let the pendulum swing towards the direction that the portal is to guide us. Again, going to be teaching that next week. So make sure you're there for that class to, learn how to divinate with your pendulum. So when it comes to identifying these portals and some of them that you want to close, you want to always make sure you understand the source of why the portal is there in the first place. So if I go back to a mirror and I look in this mirror and I see sadness, then I want to talk to the person who I'm helping, asking them, why is it when I look in your mirror, I see you, but I see sadness? What are you sad about when you look in that mirror, right? Helping them identify within themselves what they're looking at when they see, and then I assist them in changing the energy of that portal, of that mirror, to something more positive. So then when they look at it, instead of seeing sadness or seeing like flaws, they start to see something that is, they see their self-worth, they see how beautiful they are, how handsome they are, right? So portals, again, can be very simple, even though I know it tends to get overcomplicated. The truth is they're very simple. Portals just deals with doorways and gateways. Now let's talk about portals attached to the body, right? Attached to the body, especially when we're talking about people who are healers, who does readings for other people. Every time you interact with the person, there's a temporary portal that opens between you and the other person to allow an exchange of energy. Allows an exchange of energy. This is why, as empaths, when we're around certain people, we can sometimes feel their energy, especially when they're close to us. We can feel their energy even from a distance when we interact with them, because that temporary portal is open. And so when being a healer or a reader and interacting with others, we have to remember that those portals need to be closed once we are no longer working with them or communicating with them. Because if we leave those portals open, then even once we are gone and we start to notice these people are still in our mind, even in our sleep, and it's like, why am I still thinking about this person? Why am I still thinking about this person? We're thinking about that person because that portal between us is still open. So then what do we do about it? We got to close it. How do we close it? So again, a couple of ways we can close it will be using dowsing rods, where we command that the portals between us and the other person be closed, and dowsing rod starts to close. And when they close, we know the portal is closed. Same thing when it comes to being attached, using a pendulum, okay? We can use a pendulum and we can command that the portal be closed and the pendulum spins counterclockwise. With counterclockwise usually deals with closing, while clockwise usually deals with opening. But you can have it set up to be the opposite, where you can open counterclockwise and close clockwise, right? So all up to you and your intentions. Or you can simply do it on command. You can simply say, any portals open between me and this other person, I command that these portals be now closed. And then you can feel on the physical body where the portals between you and that other individual was attached, where it was open at. So if you feel it in your stomach, for example, you know that there was a solar plexus open, or a portal open in the solar plexus between you and an individual that may have been dealing with personal power. Maybe if it's in the chest, the portal that was open between you and an individual was dealing with you helping them with self-love or giving them some love, right? So you can feel the portals close as you command them close. Now the same process will work for your home. It will also work for any items that you may be attached to, closing the portals between you and that other item. Cell phone, right? We interact on our cell phones all the time. And our cell phones to be able to speak and interact with people, especially energetically from a distance. The phone itself is the portal that allows the energy to transfer, right? So you'll notice when you start to do energetic work or get into deep conversation and feelings with someone on the other end, that the battery life starts to drain because that exchange of energy between you and the other person going through the cell phone, it drains the battery, it makes the energy go down quickly. You may even start to notice that your device will start to glitch, right? Because there's so many portals open on it from all the interactions that we've been having on social media, phone calls, FaceTime. And so then it starts to mess with the phone itself, the actual electronics of it, right? So what we do is we want to make sure that we close all portals, even on our devices, to make sure that we're not constantly getting, energy being drained, right? Or being fed energies from social media apps, things like that. And you do that simply by, again, you can now take a pendulum, place it over your phone, command that all portals attached to your phone be closed. You can use your dowsing rods, or you can simply command all portals attached to the cell phone to be closed immediately, closed and sealed, ashe. And then it'll be closed. And you will no longer be feeling the energy coming from whatever situation you may have been dealing with when you was on it last. So let's say you was on a social media app and you got into it with someone and there was some back and forth. And now you're sitting here like, oh, I'm still feeling this negative space, this negative energy from that argument. Close the portals between you and that person, close the portals between you and that social media app, close the portals between you and that cell phone or that device. And that cuts off the energies, and then you start to feel better. You start to feel lighter. Okay. So another thing with portals that I typically work with is when it comes to crossing over souls, spirits that are kind of lingering, roaming, right? So what I like to do is imagine myself again opening up a portal or using a pendulum or using a dowsing rod. And then asking my divine support team, any spirits that are kind of roaming around my home that might have came through the portals when I was doing readings or healings, to escort those spirits to the other side so they can go back to source where they belong. So you can always also open those portals again to help cross over souls, cross over spirits. I know that many people who want to know how to do that. And again, it's a very, very simple process. Now, as we get later into the course and doing divination and healing with divination tools, we'll get into more demonstrations on using those tools to help you open those portals to cross those souls, and then remembering to close the portals once it's done. So that means that I'm asking my divine support team, whether it be spirit guides or guardian angels or ancestors, that once they cross, I'm asking you to cross them and then close the portals when it's done. So that portal just don't remain open, right? You can also use, or I should say, you should ask your spirit guides and your spirit animals. If you go back to the ancestor class, right? You can also work with them and ask them to go around your home or your job, or even on your physical body if you're unsure, to close and seal any unneeded portals or any demonic or malevolent negative portals. You can ask them to do it for you. And then you can lay there or sit there and feel on the body where the portals are closing. And it may even give you some insight on why you're having certain discomfort in a certain place in the body, because there was a portal still open attached to that particular area. So again, I know this class may seem pretty short, but again, portals is really a very simple process. Once we understand what happens behind the scenes, then it's like, it's really simple. It's really not a lot to it. Just know that if there's any gateways, portals, doorways, those are all synonyms, they're all the same. And when you feel like something is draining your energy or something is feeding energy into you that you're not wanting, remember to ask your higher self or your divine support team to close those portals so that that energy transfer can cease at that moment. Ashe? Okay, so we're coming to a close. The next thing we're going to do is I'm going to disconnect from the class, and I'm going to close the portals between myself and the class. So that way, when I'm done with teaching, I'm not carrying the energy of you all with me so that I can keep my energy cleansed and light. And you should be doing the same thing too. Y'all have a good one. Peace and blessings to you. And I will see y'all in the next class. Ashe.